We at Pearl Protected know that the installation of a Pearl ladder by a builder or professional carpenter is strongly preferred for the proper operation of the ladder. If Pearl ladders are included in the design of a new construction, the installation process is quick and easy. When you retrofit a Pearl ladder into an existing home, you may face certain challenges depending on the location of studs, pipes, tiles, wiring, and HVAC ducts. This video guide will describe the steps in the process, provide tips on overcoming structural challenges, and help make your installation of the Pearl Escape and Rescue ladder as smooth as possible. We recommend that you watch the entire video before installing the Pearl ladder. This diagram shows optimum positioning for the metal pan that houses the ladder. Architects and builders who want to include Pearl in their 2- and 3-story home or apartment plans should incorporate this design under an egress window in every bedroom. The metal pan should be centered 5 to 6 inches beneath the window opening. A finished wall space of 14 inches high by 16½ inches wide is required to install the ladder. In existing homes, it's possible you won't find optimum conditions, but in new construction and existing homes, the actual installation process is very similar. Let's start with the parts list. Every Pearl ladder includes the following items: a wood frame with door attached to a metal pan, a ladder with an attached climbing assistance strap, and a storage pull strap for securing the ladder stack, 4 1-inch hex screws for pan installation, 2 3/8 by 1 3/4 hex lag screws for installation of the Tri-D rings, 2 flat washers for the 3/8-inch hex lag screws, 2 Tri-D rings with 1-inch and 2-inch webbing attached, 1 insulation sheet, 1 warranty card. Remember to fill it out and send it in. You'll also need the template that's included in the center pull-out section of the Pearl Protected Installation Manual. Now let's assemble the tools you'll need for installation. Safety goggles, tape measure, small level 6 to 10 inches, number 2 pencil, straight edge like a level or T-square, flashlight, electric drill and 3/16 drill bit, drywall saw, hammer, 16D nails, staple gun or 2-sided tape for insulation sheet, socket wrench with sockets, small drop cloth, which is optional, vacuum or broom for cleanup. If jack studs need to be installed, you'll also need 2x4 stud, a minimum of 1/8 foot piece, frame grade, circular saw or sawzall. Visually inspect the wall you've selected for your ladder placement. If no obstacles exist, you can begin installation. Measure the window and find the center point. Mark the center point below the windowsill with a pencil. Using the template, align the center circle mark crosshair on the top dashed line of the template with the center point you marked on the wall. Secure the template with a piece of tape. Using the point of a 16D nail, insert the tip in each Circle X mark on the top and bottom dashed lines on the template to make a small puncture mark in the wall. Use this same nail to mark the 4 corners of the inner 4-inch box. Remove the template and use a level or other straight edge to connect the 4 corner marks of the 4-inch box directly onto the wall. As a precautionary measure, first cut out the small 4x4-inch box you just marked. Use a drywall or keyhole saw to carefully cut the drywall along the lines and remove the square. With your flashlight, push any insulation aside and look behind the wall to see if there are any wires, cables, pipes, ducts, or jack studs that will require replacement. It may be more helpful to use your hand to feel around for any such obstacles. Knowing the nature and location of any obstacles will help you make the larger cut safely and confidently. Once you've determined the obstacles, if any, use a level or straight edge and pencil to outline the large opening for the metal pan. Make sure your lines are level. The opening measures 14 inches by 16½. Using the drywall saw again, starting from the center point, carefully cut along the lines. Remove the sheetrock and any insulation behind it. Save a piece of the sheetrock in case you have to match the paint. Let's talk now about some of the challenges or obstacles you might encounter and how to handle them. If you don't have 14 inches of wall space beneath the window, you may opt to notch out part of either the window apron or the baseboard to make room for proper installation. It's best to notch out the molding so the pan fits flush to the sheetrock. Ceramic tiles simply need to be removed from the wall carefully to get to the sheetrock. The tiles can be reinstalled around Pearl after the installation is complete. If the jack studs are not optimally positioned, you will have to reposition them 14.5 inches apart on both sides of the opening and secure them to the framing. Wires, cables, pipes, and HVAC ducts will have to be relocated or adjusted so the metal pan will not interfere with the operation. Check to make sure the studs are in good physical condition and are securely connected to the sill and floor tract. There should be no movement. Locate the foil-covered insulation sheet that came with the unit and place that sheet inside the wall behind the place where you're installing the pan. Tape or staple it in place if necessary. Place the metal pan into the opening. The pan should fit snugly. Trim the saw lines if necessary to make the pan fit. Be sure the door hinges are on the left as you face the window. Use the pencil to clearly mark all 6 holes, 3 on the left and 3 on the right, in the sides of the pan. Remove the pan from the wall and set it aside. Use a power drill and a 3/16 inch wood bit to drill a 1/2 inch deep pilot hole in the center hole on the stud on both sides. Keep the drill level and straight. Put the pan back in the wall and attach the pan to the jack studs using the 1-inch lag screws by placing one at the top and bottom holes on both sides. Use the 1/4 inch socket and socket wrench to insert and tighten the lag screws. Don't tighten them completely until you have all 4 in place, and don't over-tighten them. If the stud splits, splinters, or shows any sign of weakness, you'll have to replace the jack stud and start again. Now it's time to install the ladder into the pan area. Stretch out the webbing and eliminate any kinks. The webbing leader is the webbing between the top rung and the Tri-D ring. Next, attach the Tri-D ring to the stud using the 3/8 inch hex lag screws. Place the hex lag screw through the washer, then through the Tri-D ring and into the previously drilled pilot hole. Use the socket wrench to tighten the hex lag screw. Just before you complete the tightening, push the Tri-D ring up from the lower front to place it as far back into the pan as possible. Again, don't over-tighten the hex lag screws. The orientation of the Tri-D ring is critical to the operation of the ladder. The triangle-shaped tip should be pointed down and the webbing oriented toward the top of the pan. Repeat this process for the left side of the ladder. Remember to make sure the webbing leader has no kinks before attaching. Now pick up the rung stack. Be sure you have the rung stack oriented with the rungs upside down, stacked tight, and the pull strap readable and facing upward. Hold the rung stack in one hand. With your free hand, pull the 2-inch webbing leaders up the sides of the rung stack and then grab the 1-inch climbing assistance strap. Hold the webbing firmly and place the ladder into the metal pan as far back as it will go. Pack the webbing and climbing assistance strap on top of the rung stack. Close the door to make sure it closes completely. If it doesn't close, you may have to reposition the rung stack and webbing. Testing the ladder is next. Look out the window to make sure you have a clear path to the ground. Remove the rung stack from the metal pan. Place it on the windowsill. Gently pull the pull flap to release the tension on the ladder and lower it 1 rung at a time until the ladder is fully extended. Start at the bottom and climb up 2 or 3 rungs. Intentionally stress the connection. It's helpful to have someone checking the ladder connection at the Tri-D rings to make sure there's no movement or signs of stress. Once the integrity of the ladder is ensured, check for extra rungs touching the ground. You'll need a sharp pair of heavy-duty scissors and a lighter or other controllable flame source. Determine the lowest rung before the ladder hits the ground. Cut the webbing underneath that rung no closer than 3 inches from the attachment below the desired end rung. Carefully sear the ends of the webbing with the lighter or flame source to prevent fraying. If the ladder feels secure and no stress is detected, you have successfully installed Pearl. Just repack the ladder and you're all set. As a finishing touch, you may paint, stain, or wallpaper the Pearl door and frame. Thank you for installing Pearl, the airbag for the home.